Georgia is set for 2 runoff elections in January, which may decide the fate of the U.S. Senate. Even though Joe Biden won the presidency, the Senate is still undecided. If Republicans score the majority in the House, Biden, a Democrat, will have a tough time implementing policy changes. Kristin Dunkle, an American epidemiologist based in Cape Town and a Georgia voter, joins me now for more. Kristin, welcome to Upfront. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us. So you're talking to us from Cape Town, but you're a voter in the state of Georgia. Have you relocated here permanently?
Well, that remains to be seen. I currently have a job and a spouse here in South Africa, so that's a pretty big incentive to stick around.
And how do you feel about the presidential victory for Joe Biden?
I'm relieved, elated, slept well last night for the first time in 4 years. I'm over the moon.
So what is the division of the Senate looking like at the moment? I know that you follow the news and American politics very closely.
So at the moment, it looks like we're going to end up with 50 Republican senators after Alaska and North Carolina have finished voting. We may still end up with only 48, but I think we have to prepare that it will be 50. Then there are 46 Democrats and 2 independents who caucus with the Democrats. So that gives you 50 to 48 with 2 pending in the state of Georgia. It's very unusual to have 2 pending at the same time because the 6-year terms for the senators are normally staggered so that only 1/3 of them are up for re-election at any one time, and they're never supposed to be up in the same state at once. But Georgia had a resignation, and so there is an open seat that needs to be filled.
And so that race between both of the Democratic and Republican candidates in Georgia is neck and neck. What do you expect or hope to see come the January runoff?
Well, the first thing I really hope to see is a massive voter registration drive between now and the deadline in early December. It is, interestingly enough, the case that people who are newly eligible to vote or who did not vote during the main election are eligible to either update or initially do their voter registration and still vote in the runoff. So I think a lot of this is going to be about ground game. I'm hoping anybody listening here who's eligible to vote in Georgia and hasn't participated goes to votefromabroad.org and immediately registers to vote in Georgia. So that will be step 1. And then step 2, of course, is going to be the entire political universe in the United States descending on the state of Georgia. And I'm just really hopeful that they're going to follow the leadership of the local politicians in Georgia, particularly folks like Raphael Warnock, who's one of the candidates, John Ossoff, and Stacey Abrams, who, as you may know, was a candidate for Georgia a few years ago, largely believed, including by me, that that election was stolen from her by voter suppression tactics. And she has organized a massively wonderful ground-up initiative called Fair Fight Action, which has been fighting against voter suppression and for voters' rights all through the South in the U.S. So I'm really hoping that as we move into this, folks follow the leadership of folks on the ground in Georgia, folks from Georgia, folks eligible to vote in Georgia, and see if we can get this thing done.
Pennsylvania played a key role in deciding the elections, but right on its heels was Georgia. Interesting that Georgia is also playing such an important role in the division of the Senate. Is that just coincidence, or has Georgia been an absolute out-and-out battleground? Kristin, can you still hear me? Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost sound. Let's come back to that in a short while. Do stay with Upfront.